What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again. And this time we are here with John and Chuck of the Almighty Incantation, round three. It is great to be able to have you all here. Thanks for being on the show today.
Hell yeah, it's great to be here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
thanks for having us, man.
Anytime. Welcome back to John and welcome to hell to Chuck. You're going to see all the torture I put John through the last two interviews. But it's so awesome to have you all here. Unholy Deification is absolutely kick-ass, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it. It's definitely on the top tier of death metal albums we got coming out this year, along with The Dying Fetus and Cannibal Corpse and Obituaries. Did you just consider this picking up where you left off after Secta Vile Divinities, being that came out during rather uncertain times, to say the least? Or was this meant to sort of be like a new beginning for Incantation? Who wants to go first?
It's basically an answer to the previous album. Each album is, because after you finish an album, you kind of realize that, there's certain things that you could have expanded on, things that could have been better. And this one, like immediately after even just recording, I'm not recording the tracks. Personally, I was inspired to write as almost like I said, an answer to, because I felt like, even though Sect of All Divinities had some good songs on it, I think it was just the overall sound of the album and the vibe of the album was a little bit too, I don't know, almost clean and too prestigious or whatever. There wasn't enough dirt on there. So, I really was inspired immediately to do something I felt was a little more brutal, a little more just self-expressive of the moment of finishing the album. So for me, I mean, in general, music writing is it sounds cheesy, but I don't know a better word to use right now, but a passionate feeling. You have that will to really want to express something, especially if you try to express something and you felt there was a little bit of things didn't come out the right way. You're like, okay, fuck, this time I'm going to really try to, kick ass even more and push myself a little harder to really get something that I could be happy with.
Yeah. And Chuck, one thing I wanted to ask you with the history of Incantation, being that Vanquish and Vengeance was your first album with the band. I know you were on the After Party Massacre split, but Vanquish and Vengeance being your first record with the band, with the making of that and Dirges of Elysium and Profane Nexus, were you looking at albums such as Blasphemy or The Infernal Storm or Primordial Domination being like, this is how I have to play? Or given, your history with other bands such as Witness to the End or Bloodstorm or Occupancy, that maybe you were able to kind of bring your own mix when coming into Incantation, and how is it shown on this new album?
So when I first started, we were doing primarily the Golgotha Mortal Throne songs at the time because of the lineup that we had. And I was trying to contour myself into a band that's already been established for all that time, previously, that you just wanted to do the best that you could do to emulate the recordings that were before me. That was my original approach to it. By the time Vanquish of Vengeance came out and everything, I was rather reluctant to actually present material in order to be myself. And over time, I don't think that I've actually changed any approach to a writing process, to make it this is an incantation riff per se, but it's just how we would genuinely write on ourselves, write on our own. So when you present those certain things, it is incantation. I think that my original approach to it, I never went back to it. And through the, John loves to, bolster people's opinions, loves to, get the best out of you as a musician. And, as reluctant as I was glad that he was there to push, because now I'm more confident in actually presenting material and stuff, and it shows more as time goes on.
Yeah
I have to say that I was when I first started hearing this material, I was like, this is really freaking good, and it's I just knew that it could be a valuable asset to the band. And that's what we want to have is we want to have everybody's best qualities, I don't know, you say rise to the top or whatever. You want to utilize everybody's best qualities in the band. I mean, it's just why have these, great musicians and awesome people and then tell them you have to be exactly like this, you know? I mean, everyone knows what they're getting into, you know, joining Incantation. I think that's should be without saying, but at the same time, nobody should be afraid to, bring up ideas and stuff. It's always worth trying. And a lot, I mean, for me, a lot of the stuff that Chuck comes up with is either has a very original spin to it. That's his own personality, and a lot of it also reminds me of some of the older Incantation style that is really awesome to have those kind of inputs in, especially because of myself writing for so long. It's really nice to have someone come up with an old style riff and kind of get me in that, um, you know, 1990, 1995 brain, space of like, okay, let's make something that works with what he's doing and brings me back to being, say, a younger writer or whatever. So it's really awesome.
Yeah. Well,
And
also,
now we have all the bases covered, kind of. We have what we want to do now, but we also have a lot of throwback stuff. But it's not even like on purpose. I think it's just natural for him. I mean, being a fan of the band and the style, it's like, you kind of just naturally comes up with it. I just really know that a lot of his riffs. I know I'm babbling a little bit, but a lot of his riffs really turned out, to great songs. Like one is off Profane Nexus, Rights of the Locust, ended up being one of the more popular songs on the album and was majority written by Chuck. I mean, we all had a part in kind of making it come together, but it was just nice. I was really happy to have, you know, other people's input into songs and have those songs be standout songs because they deserve to be. I mean, we're all part of this, and I want everybody's input to be super valuable.
yeah.
There's a reason for these songs to exist.
Yeah. Well, also, John, because in between this and now, you also put out this year the Tribe of Pazuzu album, which I had the privilege of speaking with Nick about as well. And so, being that you have been very prolific, you've definitely, I would say, used the lockdown times to your advantage in terms of inspiration. Has maybe making that album allowed you to come to Unholy Deification with a clean slate in a way?
Well, it was a clean slate. I mean, we didn't. I There was only a few riffs that might have been older riffs on the album. Almost everything is new. So it was all like we had a whole backlog of material since Vanquish and Vengeance, like really before Vanquish and Vengeance. We've always written like, I don't know, good 20 songs or 18 songs every session, or well, we'd end up with 18 songs, I'll say, because we would have songs for the album, maybe 10 or 12, whatever it was, and then we would have these, 4 or 5 extra songs that we would just hold until the next time. So next time we wrote another, you know certain amount of songs. Then we go try to fix some of the older ones that we liked and try to move with them. So we've been having a backlog for all the way up until Sect. The Sect was the last album where we used that well of music from that time. And this one was all almost, like I said, at least 90-95% was all just how we felt at the moment of writing it. These are all, you know, pretty much new stuff. I mean, I don't know where everyone, the stuff they brought in. I don't know how long they've had it for in their possession, but I know for myself, I don't think any riff on this album was written. It was like probably November of 2019 when I finished tracking Sect of All Divinity. That was the first riff that I think we wrote for this one.
I also wanted to ask too, because I know, John, you've played guitar since the formation in 1989, but you didn't really take on the role of vocals until 2004, which happy almost 20-year anniversary to taking the
Oh
role of
yes.
vocalist. And then Chuck, kind of going back to what I said, you coming in later in the band. So, John, when it comes to like maybe performing some deep cuts and singing stuff off of Upon the Throne of Apocalypse or Mortal Throne of Nazarene, and Chuck, if you were to play some earlier material predating 2008, do you maybe have different attachments or different relationships with that material as opposed to the material that you were the vocalist on from start to finish, or that you were present for?
Well, vocal
Yeah,
wise, oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, vocal wise, I kind of cut my teeth on practicing a lot of those songs because when I was trying to do vocals, I went back and listened to the previous albums and tried to, you know, match and mimic the tones that were on there just to get my to kind of train my voice or whatnot. So, when I play those songs, I don't know, I feel very natural because number one, I was part of the writing process of the songs, and second of all, I've been practicing the vocal patterns for the songs for quite a while, or at least they were familiar, when I was practicing them, or like originally and stuff. So to me, it's just more of a nostalgia thing, and I just try really hard to um, give those songs as much enthusiasm as I would, a newer song, say that I did or whatever. And you want to keep the integrity of the old style, but you also want to be able to add some of your own personality to. Because I think if you don't do that, it becomes kind of fake. You have to have a little bit of you in it. Just to copy it, I don't know, would be disingenuous and wouldn't do justice to the songs, I don't think.
Mhm. And that's
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for when, in the writing process and everything. When it came to the performance end of things, I was strictly trying to emulate exactly what those albums sounded like and exactly what those previous members had done. By the time I broke out of that, yeah, I add elements to all those songs now, all of them, really. And some of which change almost from night to night. I don't really know exactly how to approach them, except for the genuine structure is always going to be there, but I always add something to it.
yeah. You
Well, I
know,
think I made it clear. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think I made it clear, like, to everybody really in the band. But I always want to make it clear that it's like, of course, you want to keep the integrity of the old stuff and the new stuff. I mean, that's just, it's important to do that. But at the same time, you have to be yourself. You have to be able to make the songs your own, because, if you want to really, really do this, if you want to really do the songs live, you want to really do the band, it has to be honest. It has to be part of you. It can't be just worried about copying exactly what the last person did, So I really pushed for that. And I think it really helps when people hear those songs live. They're very close to the original, I would say, but they sound alive because we're not just going there being like, okay, what did XYZ do? Let's just copy this. No, it's because the feeling of it is true. Everyone actually, expressing themselves with the song. That's how a song to me comes out great, is when everyone's expressing it to the fullest
and
and
all
honest.
And the other thing too is because as somebody who has seen Incantation live now too many times to even count, I don't think I've missed a New York City show since maybe like 2013 or 14 or something like that. But as you know, it's such a present moment in a way. I'm only focused on the now when I see an Incantation show. It seems like everything before came and what may happen after isn't on the forefront of my mind. But you also dive in all along the catalog as well. So when you're playing like older material, like for instance, John, if you were to maybe pull out a Blasphemy deep cut, does it almost put you back like in the mindset of 2002? And for Chuck, if you were to maybe play a Profane Nexus song, does that put you back in the mindset of 2017? Or is it such a present moment in a way where it just feels like it's here and now in a way?
Here and now.
Yeah.
Plainly spoken. It's not just the song or the time period in which it was written or anything like that. It's the people that are there with you, and that is the very moment that we embrace. Like if you're on that stage with the respective people around you and everything, you're making it your own now.
Mm-hmm. As for you, John?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the moment for sure, but there's always a little streak of nostalgia in me, So, I don't know if I don't think playing live, I really think about it, but definitely when I say practicing the songs or something like that, it does make me brings me back a little bit, But the thing that with live, more than the songs bringing me back, because like I said, you're in the moment and going for it. When you see the crowd, there's certain crowds that you just see, and that brings like a memory to me where makes me feel like I'm back in the late '80s or early '90s, because you just like when we played last time we played in Adelaide, it was a whole front row of like these young kids that were probably my age. Like I was their age when I was doing the same thing, and they had their denim jackets on and their patches, and they were in the front, and they were like just headbanging from start to finish. Like they had that mindset I had when I was a kid. Is that like you headbang from start to finish of the night? It's like there's no like hanging out, you know, being a poser about it. Like you're there to thrash with the band, and those kind of things sometimes bring me back a little bit when I see, because it definitely, I guess this is a nostalgia thing too. It brings me full circle to why I did this, and it gives me like sometimes even a little extra energy or whatever, because you feel like, yes, this is the reason why, like the reason why I got into it in the first place was because I seen bands play and they kicked my fucking ass, and to know that we're kicking other people's ass, it does bring something cool and nostalgic to it. But at the same time, I would say majority of the time, it's all in the moment, because all you want to do is just feel that power of what you're playing, and just, it just takes everything out of you, as your focus is, it's really difficult to focus on a lot of the stuff when you're just like just going for it, like, fuck you kind of thing playing, because that's, it's a great intensity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in a different world with it. I don't even know what I'm thinking about. Sometimes you're looking at people, but you're looking through them. You're not looking at people. And I'm on a different world.
Yeah. That's it's good though. It's like, you just got to get into your space that, it feel like you're feeling it, and just fucking go with the flow, and that's, there's a magic of playing live, especially of recently, where it's just like, just fucking do it, just go, just play, you don't have to focus in on what's happening, like, not worried about what's this guy doing, what's that guy's doing, what's happening. It's just like we could just do our parts, and it's like everything else just happens, and it all just falls together in a perfect way. It's really it's crazy. It's almost like, I don't know, you would think like, getting shot out of a rocket or something. It's just like propulsion just pushes you, and you're just like, and you just feel that metal. And it's not like, it's almost like a roller coaster ride or something, where you're on the top and you just go down, and it just, before you know it, you're at the end of the song. You're just like, okay, let's do it again. See you on the other side.
Get right back in line. And you let me perfectly into the final question, and that is, and you mentioned this before, John, is that power, because I almost feel like every Incantation album is a live album, because it captures that power of a live performance within the record, and I think that's extraordinary. And I hear that in all of your individual parts, whether it will be in the vocals or in the riffs and the rhythm section, etc. So to capture that power, is that something that almost just comes naturally as you're sort of playing more and more and getting in the groove, or is that something that you kind of like seek out in a way? Do you look for that power? Do you look for that inspiration and that energy?
I don't know. I think it just happens from playing. It's like you just feel it or you don't feel it, And we've realized over time that doing things in the traditional way that people record things now is just not right for us, and that we excel by having the input and the magic of all the people, really contributing to the songs that they're playing. So we don't play the click tracks on the album and stuff. So everything is recorded like, how it would be, played live, or, our best, it's like kind of like our best rehearsal take. We'll take that one that everyone's happy with and build the song from that, build the album version of the song from that. It just works better that way than us going through and trying to manipulate things so they're perfect at each corner, because I realize that we excel when we're playing live, when we're feeding off either each other or the crowd or whatever whatever we're trying to express. We're doing it in a very honest way. And when you do things like that, you're not concerned is this time around of that riff the same exact beats per minute as this one. It's like we don't, who gives a fuck about that stuff for us? It's like we just if it sounds good well this time and then sounds good going back to it, it's good. It doesn't need to be identical because that's not the feeling that is needed at that time. Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, before the advent of all this technology and everything, creating like perfection, it's not necessary. For centuries, people would get together and just play. Just do that, and that's what we do when we write or when we create our demo versions and the like. It's just four people enjoying each other's company, writing, doing the best that we can and putting forth our most extreme efforts in order to make something great. And yeah, if you can't translate that album live, why? You know what I mean? Why? What's the point? I don't know. I mean, if you have like a 20-layer guitar track or whatever, what are you going to do? Hire another 19 guitarists just so you can do that part?
I'd like to see that live once.
I mean, that would be probably the most, organic way of doing it. But we all know that like technology would dictate that you had some kind of backing track or have some kind of mechanized something or other in order to fill the gaps. And that's just not necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, this is death metal, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean, I like, like those symphonic death metal bands like Flesh God Apocalypse. Lorna Shore has been killing it now in the way that they do it. So like, I think it works to a degree, but like you are also right. Like if it's like backing track, introduction, song, then backing track, outro, then another backing track, intro, then song, it's like, all right,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not, ragging on those other bands or whatever. It's like, everybody has their own particular style, taste, flair, and flavor, whatever. But, we just know with conviction that for our own part and the way that we carry ourselves and the way that we, write and record and everything, that this is a tried and true method that, we're not going to deviate from.
I mean, it's our band. We do it our way. It's like other bands, they might think another way is the right way to do it. But
sure.
It's just, this works. It's like when we try to do it in, the quote unquote, the normal way bands do it now, we're just not happy with the way it comes out. It just doesn't, we could feel that the passion and liveliness is not in the song. And it's, we grew up in an era where the personality of the players was more important than the notes and, really the songs itself. It was just you like the feeling of the way those four people played together or five people played together, and you wanted to capture that magic, not this it's not about like, oh well, this is the tightest song ever written or the tightest guitar picking part in history or whatever. It's like those things just aren't important to us. I mean, they're great. It's great that bands could do this stuff and then you use this talent, or have like lots of talent. But if you have lots of talent but can't write a good song or write a good feelingful song instead of just a talent show kind of thing, for me it's just not interesting or whatever. I mean, I could watch a talented guitar player practice and be like, oh wow, that's amazing, but at the end of the day, if you don't write a good song, who gives a fuck?
Absolutely. Incantation, all organic death metal. That is my slogan for you guys. Yeah. So
accurate.
Yeah.
So
get us at yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you both so much for your time today. Most of all, thank you for another fantastic album. This is a great year for death metal, and this is another great album to prove my point. Is there just anything else with the upcoming record cycle for Unholy Deification that you would like to promote, or anything else you'd like to plug?
Pre-sales are still available. Got a couple more weeks, and then it drops, for the rest of the world. So grab it. Hope you like it, and hopefully see you on the road.
Yeah, look out. We'll be hitting the road again, probably pretty hard after the release of the album. And besides that, yeah, just the reaction's been great so far. And thank everybody. We thank everybody for the this long time support, and it's great to see that people are really enjoying the new album track so far. It's super cool.
It's epic, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear the rest of this album. They're in for an absolute treat. Yeah.
And too kind, man, too kind.
Are you still working at Altos?
That's where I am right now. That's where I am.
Look like I thought you were at Altos Music. Yeah,
that's me. Yep. Shout out to Alto for always letting me do my interviews on the job. But thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome.
We are here with Incantation, Unholy Deification. It is coming out August 25th. Be sure to pick that up. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
Hell yeah.